I love the people in this valley. And I still love this valley. And I love the city that we're in. But that brings us to the present. And unfortunately, as the valley, the city has grown to include more and more people, it's beginning to turn into a big city. Now, it does not have to turn into a big city mentality. There are a lot of cities out there that are mid-sized, what I would say a mid-sized city of several hundred thousand, where it is like a small city, where they are reactive to the people, where they listen to the people. Unfortunately, our city, a couple of things have happened over the last few years that have made it really clear to me. One of them happened a couple of years ago at 4 o'clock in the morning. We live in the Newhall section of Canyon Country above Friendly Valley, for those of you who know your geography. 4 o'clock in the morning, we had a drive-by shooting. 5 houses up on the other side of the thing. And it was an eye-opener. And I realized this is not the Santa Clarita that it used to be. And this was very sobering. And so that I began to think about that. And then it became my job when they appointed me to the city council, kind of out of the blue, as it were. And I said, now I've got to make this city, it's my responsibility for this city to be the kind of city that we want, that we need, that will be listening to the people so you can speak to the city. And that's really the key. That's the only key. Otherwise, if you can't go down to City Hall as an individual, walk through the doors there and talk to your city council, if you can't do that and be listened to and taken serious and have your problem addressed, there is no reason to be a city. Then we might as well just be a corporation, turn it over to the city manager, and let them run it as a corporation. That is, unfortunately, a lot of what has been happening. And this became evident to me when I sat on the city council. People would come forward, and some of them are in this room. They would come forward and they would say, we have this problem in our neighborhood. And it's caused mostly by development, unexpected, unintended consequences of development. And something would happen and they'd say, oh my gosh, there's all this cut-through traffic coming through the neighborhood. And they would be pouring their hearts out. And the council would be nodding. City manager, speak to so-and-so, give so-and-so a call. And nothing would happen. And this would go on for months and months, and actually years in many cases. But there was no solution looked for. So first person that came up and they said, hey, we have a problem. I got in the car, I drove out, and they were kind of surprised to see me. And I said, look, what's the problem? Show me the problem. Let's look at it. Now let's try to find a solution. And that's what I do. Okay? And recently, a group of people from the Benelli tract, you may have read about that if you read the paper, a woman teaches, that happens to be my daughter's third grade teacher, teaches with Ingrid, and she was beside herself. I mean, literally, here is a teacher whose husband is retired and on fixed income, and the city knocks on their door and says, you have to take the concrete out of your driveway here in the front. Mind you, this concrete, okay, that driveway has been poured for years and years and years. This housing tract was built before the city was built, back in the late 1950s. Yeah. So by many, many years. Yeah. And the inspector comes out and says, you've got to take the concrete out of your driveway, and it will cost you thousands of dollars. And they're like, what? They said, well, this is not... And they said, this is proactive enforcement. This is our neighborhood makeover. And it is the city government run amok, is what it is. And they called City Hall. Okay? They called City Hall. They wrote to City Hall. They wrote to the mayor, Frank Perry. Did not answer their questions. Did not even answer them. And she said, is there anything you do about it? Tim Ben does that sort of thing. And I've been doing that since I got off the council. Over in the Calgrove corridor to help them to get a reasonable project at the Smizer Mill Ranch. Up in Placerita where they're looking at the Casden project. Out in Ben's Road where Tony Natoli and those guys have all that cut-through traffic coming out of all the neighborhoods they built above them. They didn't expect that, and there it was. Linden Vista, Canvas out in Canyon Country. These are all neighborhoods that were impacted by things that were happening. These are all neighborhoods that were coming forward. These were neighborhoods that were not being listened to. So I said, well, you know what? Sure. Just bring your neighborhoods, bring them together. We'll have a meeting and then I'll try to help them. So I got there, and they had met before, but they got about 30 people in the room, and these people were beside themselves. Now, these are ordinary citizens. They have a nice neighborhood up there. It's not Valencia. It was built in the late 50s, okay? They have a problem with their government. They are very unhappy. They are yelling at us. I go, wait. We can fix this. This can be changed. You are the people. You have local representation. You are the people. The power is with you. You go to City Hall and tell them to stop this and that you don't need this. All of you go there. Okay? Take as many people as you can and tell them what you told me. And that's all I did. And 30 of them went there. 17 of them spoke. The council member was like, you can stop now. You can stop now. They didn't stop. They said, by the time they were finished, 3 of the council had apologized. One of the council people, and I won't name names, during the course of the people speaking to them said, wow, when only 1 or 2 people are here, that is one thing. But I can see by the number of people here, this is a real problem. That's the real problem, right there. You shouldn't have to gather up 30 of your neighbors, okay, and then bring them to City Hall and yell and scream to get your problem solved. You shouldn't have to wait for the mayor to answer your letters. You have a problem, you need to go there, one person. And you need to be taken seriously, and you need to see if we can fix your problem. Okay? Now, apparently, we're not sure how it's all going to come out in the end. They've asked for special standards, and they're on that road. But they have suspended all of that. We're going to take out the driveway thing, to create some patch of grass there or something that they have thought up. People have, and then they would spend thousands of dollars doing that, by the way. That's all settled. But it shouldn't have had to be that way. And it shouldn't be that way. And what I'm about is to make it so that that doesn't happen.